CEO at Blend. I have put together a video today which is looking at some of the more practical elements of what you guys can do to, I guess, pivot in terms of your marketing, your communication, and your product, obviously in the times that we're facing at the moment. Now, obviously at the moment in time, there is a little bit of uncertainty about in terms of what's going to happen. But what I did want to share with you are some trends that we have seen so far, and as well as some kind of practical examples of things that I feel that you could do to slightly change your approach in terms of the way that you discuss with your customers, the way that you market your business, and ultimately the way that you run your business as well. So let's just kind of dive straight into this. And what I've wanted to do, first of all, is to give you some trends that we have picked up on right now. So there are a number of different facts in here, but just kind of going through these briefly. The first one here is talking about Messenger and WhatsApp. Now, there's been a 50% increase in the use of Messenger and WhatsApp over the past, obviously, few weeks. And I think the big thing here is obviously consumers are at home. There's more communication going on. And therefore, because of that, obviously, people are communicating more via these apps. Equally with that, we've seen this 45% of consumers globally spending a lot more time on social media. Now, I'm sure we've all done that ourselves, as individuals, as business owners. There is a lot more time being spent online and using the social media platforms that we're all part of. Another interesting one here is about Netflix. Now, I'm sure many of you will have maybe completed Netflix or be close to doing that, as I think I've seen a few memes going around. But I think the interesting thing there is that if you look at that huge growth, there is a massive growth in that subscription of content. And then equally, the last three on there, we talk about grocery apps. The availability of food has been something that's been obviously very much talked about globally. And obviously here we can see there's been a big surge in people downloading apps to enable them to get food delivered to their home. UK shoppers here, similarities, a massive spike in the ordering of online groceries. Biggest area of increase, interestingly, has been in child's medicines and also in long life milk. And then the last one there, which I thought was quite an interesting one, is that the imagery used in social media has actually declined by over a quarter of where human interaction is being shown. And obviously, there was a lot more stats and things and trends are being going, but I thought these are interesting ones. But the question is that, okay, we can see these trends happening. What actually do they mean, and what actually can we do to actually get our business through this period and actually make the most of this situation we find ourselves in? Now, really, for me, I think it boils down to 5 different things. Consumers want certainty in an uncertain world. Consumers clearly need interaction. Consumers care about each other. Consumers need to be entertained. And consumers are also focusing on lower value purchases. Now, for me, what I've done on the screen is I've highlighted in green there, obviously, those 5 different points. And what I'm going to do now is going to give you some examples and some ideas on how I think you can look at each of those different points in turn about what that actually might mean for amending the way you're running your business at the moment. Now, first of all, when it comes to certainty, there's been a lot of discussion about what you should say to customers. Now, obviously, a lot of over the past couple of weeks, businesses rather on Shopify and other online businesses have been putting out emails to their customers saying, our approach to coronavirus is, or, kind of sharing, little bits of information about the internals of their company. I think that's all well and good, but if you're anything like me, you're probably getting a little bit, tired. I think it's probably the overall feeling here of these kind of communications. So what I really think that we should be doing at the moment is just kind of using some basic on-site messaging just to kind of reassure those customers of that certainty, but not necessarily overdoing it. So in terms of on-site messaging, why not just maybe update your header bar, which might say, for example, all orders shipped as usual. Delivery on schedule. Just that small message to say, okay, look, guys, everything's going fine. We've maybe got a header with that information in. Maybe you can use a push notification, use something like Push Owl, just to basically give that basic bit of information. We don't need to tell the consumer, okay, everything that we're doing as part of coronavirus. Yeah, everyone is, I guess, in a similar position. But we just need to reassure those customers that everything is running as certain. And if it's not running as usual, just be honest with customers. If you do have products that are out of stock, notify that with a good out of stock solution that you might have. If you're using an out of stock app, use that. take off products or temporarily put a hold on particular products you were going to launch that perhaps you can't. So really, I think the point is here, show customers what they can get from you, be honest with them, and give them that certainty that what is you're showing on the site, they'll be able to buy. The other one there is email communication. Now, it's kind of following on from my first point there. I don't really feel that at this stage, we are now obviously at the very end of March. We don't really need to be kind of sending out our approach to coronavirus emails. But I think what we do need to do is keep people up to date on stock levels, keep our customers up to date in terms of what's coming. It may be that you obviously have a new product coming out. Great, that's great. We can email that information out, keep her up to date with what's happening, and just again giving that certainty of also what's going to happen. Now, notifications is an interesting one because obviously at the moment we don't want to over communicate, but equally we don't want to under communicate. Now, I'm sure many of you are using kind of the Shopify notifications to update people about shipping, about delivery. Just make sure that those are up to date. If you are at the moment just using the plain text version of those, I'd recommend having a look at the HTML there to see if you can edit those. There are some great apps available that allow you to do that pretty quickly. I know Forsberg +2, they have an app that allows you to do that very simply, and it means you can just again make sure that communication, that level of certainty is increased. But another one that we've been using a lot with our own clients at Blend is using SMS, and particularly SMS Bump. Now, SMS Bump, although obviously can be used as a way to market your business via SMS, it's also a great way to keep customers up to date. So I thoroughly recommend having a look at SMS solution if you're not using that currently. And if you are using that, just again, making sure that those flows are in place. Ultimately, this is about getting those basics right with certainty. If you are trying to, communicate to your consumers and to your customers that everything is working as it should do, these basic steps can really help you do that. And the final one here is about free shipping. Now, we've recently put some information about free shipping. Now, obviously, this may not be applicable or may not be available to everyone, but certainly what I would do is at the moment is, again, if you are able to offer free shipping, or indeed, if you are able to bring actually the threshold for shipping down, that will be great, because it just means that you are, again, making sure that people feel comfortable with buying with you. Ultimately, this certainty part really, it's if we kind of go back to the core basics of e-commerce, this is all about developing trust. So if you can use these things to ensure that consumers continue to have trust with you, and that's obviously existing customers and new customers, then I think that will be a really great step. Now, the second point that we looked at was interaction. And clearly at the moment, there is a lot of interaction that's needed. We are at the moment obviously seeing a lot of news. We are communicating a lot via WhatsApp, via Messenger, whether it's the house party app, all these kind of things that are being used frequently. So when it comes to your business, how does that translate? And I think the first one here is about on your on-site chat. Now, on-site chat is something that does need to be managed quite carefully. And there's two ways I think you can do this. One is, first of all, if you are currently using on-site chat, there's two things you can do there. One is if you obviously at the moment have the time available to man that on-site chat more often than you do that. That's great. It's a great way, again, to continue to have that interaction with customers, reassuring them, making sure that obviously that they know that everything is going along in terms of if they're looking to purchase. With that as well, if obviously you're not able to man that on-site chat, a great thing to do here is to revisit some of your automations. If you're using something like Octane AI, or if you're using Gorgeous, or if you're using kind of a chat solution that enables you to communicate, just make sure that those automations that you have are up to date and are working exactly the right way that you want them to. Again, just giving that clarity of information. Email response. Now, emails, obviously, in terms of responding to them from customers, if you are a business that gets a lot of emails, particularly from customers, rather than kind of contact forms or sort of chat, particularly if you're in the B2B space, making sure that those email responses are up to date is really important. If you do have to use an autoresponder, please make sure that with the autoresponder, you are very clear in terms of when that customer can expect information back from you. Particularly at the moment, if we are thinking about customers who are looking to refund, which obviously I know is not a great thing if we do have refund requests, but The point is that if you want to retain that person to come and buy and come back and buy again in the future, you certainly want to make sure that they feel comfortable to do so, and making sure that your policies and your procedures are in place. Now, social media at the moment, we have had this big upsurge in obviously people using social media. And I think, again, here, kind of going back to the previous point about certainty, not sort of over communicating here, but making sure that your social media is kept up to date and, in fact, is relevant. Now, I've seen quite a lot of brands at the moment who have obviously scheduled social media posts out maybe kind of a month or 2 months ago that are kind of firing through on a scheduler. I think that the issue with that at the moment is that we maybe want to change some of those messages that are going out. There have been a couple of brands that I've seen who've been putting out social media posts which are kind of talking about, increasing purchases or offering a new product. Maybe now isn't really the right time to do that, but maybe just kind of keeping people up to date is what's happening, and making sure, particularly if you have a social media post going out that is talking about a product review of a particular product that you have, making sure that that product is still in stock. So again, making sure here that there isn't any frustration that's caused by your social media, because again, that's going to be something that's going to put off your consumers. Now, user-generated content, I think, is an interesting one. And if any of you are using any apps that are sort of reviews apps, then obviously there is an opportunity here to get user-generated content. Now, particularly at the moment, I would say that a lot of clients that have reviews apps that have user-generated content available where consumers can create a video or create an image of the product at home don't particularly use that enough. And what I would say is that if you are a customer, if you are a Shopify brand that uses one of those reviews apps and that you know that there is user-generated content available and you are not actually at the moment going out to get those reviews, why not look into actually enabling that user-generated content? What you can also do with many of these apps is go back maybe 30 or 60 days and actually send out a review request with a request for user-generated content. The great thing then is, again, is that you're generating that interaction between your customers, but also as well, what you're doing is generating more content for your own site, which again can only be a good thing. Okay, so moving on to care. Now, care, I think at the moment is a very important thing. We are, I think, generally as the societies where we are in the world, caring about one another. Particularly from my point of view here in the UK, and obviously what we've seen with our clients in the US, is that there is a lot of, I think people are focusing on society and focusing on people around them. So whether that is relatives that you can't currently see, whether it is friends that you can't currently see, maybe indeed it's colleagues like us here at Blend, making sure that you are able to show care and show that people that you are available, and also that you are able to obviously get in touch with them should you need to. Now, one of the first things that's been very interesting, I think, is seeing an upsurge in the amount of care packs being sold, or equally along the gift sort of element. Now, when it comes to care packs, let me just kind of explain a little bit more for those of you who are not aware of what care packs is. Now, a care pack essentially is a small gift of different items that you maybe send out to a relative just to kind of let you know that you're thinking of them. So let's say, for example, you are a candle making business. You might actually develop a care pack where you can sell a candle, maybe a card, and maybe some chocolate or some candy to send out in a box that can go out as a low value purchase, but can be sent out as a gift to someone that can't be got to. Maybe it's people's birthdays, maybe it's just a relative that is by themselves. These things are obviously low priced, but equally what they do is give you an opportunity to sell to a market that may be thinking about those relatives and want to show that care and attention that they want to do at the moment. So I think going and having a look at that care pack idea is a great idea. Equally, if you know of other businesses that could maybe complement your particular product, so in terms of developing a care pack together, why not do that as a kind of a joint venture? If you are a greetings cards producer, maybe you are a handmade chocolates company, and maybe you are a candle producer, why not get together and develop those care packs as one? The other thing here as well is I've talked about is B2B affiliates. Now, for those of you on Shopify that are using Shopify for B2B, a really great thing you can be doing at the moment is setting up an affiliate program. Now, particularly what I would recommend here is that if your product is used to create something, or is your product is used to build something, give your customers the resources to be able to go and sell more of that particular product, and give them also a kickback in terms of an affiliate fee. So there are many affiliate apps out there that you can use, but what this will do is not only bring revenue for you as a business, but actually give your customers a bit of a revenue kick as well. So that might be a great option, particularly, if you're a B2B business. Equally, from a B2C point of view, if you've got a loyalty and referral program like Loyalty Line, make sure you've got that referrals element of the package set up, just so again that you can encourage those customers to then share what you're doing, to then again hopefully give them some benefit and you as well. Now, the subscription side of things, I feel is one thing that is, certainly that we've seen is doing very well at the moment. Equally, with people that have an existing subscription business, we're seeing the retention rates are a lot better. Churn has gone very much down, because people are continuing to want to make sure that they have that consistency and that certainty that we talked about earlier in the presentation. So I would say, if you are thinking about subscriptions, think about your business at the moment, and think about maybe putting together a subscription that is going to work for your customers. So whether that is on a monthly basis, whether that's on a quarterly basis, have a look at some different options, have a look at your competitors, see what they're doing, and first and foremost, reach out to your existing customers. If you've got a previous customer list, obviously through Shopify, if you're using something like Klaviyo, obviously what you can do there is create some segments to be able to email out to them, give them some information that obviously you're going to be launching a subscription business, and then get some feedback initially to see what that's like. That is a great way of locking in some revenue at this moment in time, and obviously also plays into that thing that we are looking for certainty at the moment. Now, the last one here is something that we've been doing as a business for, I'll probably say about 12 months now, is using loom.com to do video messaging. And loom.com is exactly the piece of software that I'm using right now to record this video. And what we do as a business is that when we are looking to send out a message to a customer, rather than sending them an email, just create a quick Loom video like this. You might want to obviously have something in the background, maybe your customer's website, maybe your own website. Maybe you just want to have a straight up video of you talking to the camera, just again to obviously show that there's that level of care there. It's a really nice personal touch, and I would certainly say, from my point of view, and for any of our partners or customers that know me quite well, I tend to do this quite a lot, because from my point of view, it gets our message across a lot easier. And equally, it really shows, that I'm thinking about that particular person that I'm sending that message to. So care there is, again, a really important element of what we can all be doing at the moment. Okay, so entertainment. Now, I made a little reference to Netflix earlier on. But I think the wider thing here is that, look, we are in a time, obviously, where people have a lot more free time in their hands. And at the moment, one of the really good things that I've seen a lot of people doing is thinking about video learning. Now, for example, this can be very broad. And I think what you need to do a little bit here is think a little bit outside the box. So let's think about an example. So let's say you are a gym apparel company. What you might be doing here is actually maybe submitting or putting out there some videos of your team doing some workouts, wearing obviously your gym equipment. It might also be as well, that let's say perhaps you are a handmade chocolate company. What you might want to do is, obviously, again, you've got to capture the audience. You might want to then put out a little video of how to make some basic chocolates at home. Just obviously things here that are going to capture people's attention. They're again going to show that element of care that we talked before. And I think that's a really important point here. Make sure that these, obviously the different elements, these 5 different elements fit together well. So you can use all of these in one idea, but all of them must come through. The other idea here is around doing a design competition. So again, through entertainment. Now, if any of you are in, let's say, apparel, let's say you're in phone cases, let's say you have a food company that obviously has packaging. At the moment, obviously, there are a lot of people who are creative at home, who have a lot of extra time in their hands. Maybe what you can do is via your social media and via your email list is create a design competition where customers have to redesign your packaging, have to redesign a particular product of yours. You could create a template in Canva to help them do that, or Photoshop. And then what you can do then is spread that out over a longer period of time. Obviously generate that entertainment factor, but also as well, it generates some really great content that you can use then to get polls on. And obviously, if it's possible, you can also as well actually get that particular product made or that packaging made up and then run that all the way through as a fully fledged competition. So lots of engagement with those types of things. And equally as well, a very entertaining thing that you can do and might even again generate some ideas for the business in terms of new ways you could obviously display your product or even design your product. Now, the Facebook Live by Customers one, I think is one that needs to be managed very carefully. A great example of a brand that has done this is Gymshark. You might see at the moment Gymshark do have quite a significant schedule of Facebook Lives by gym instructors who are doing different workouts every hour. Now, for you with your own business, that could be done again in a number of different ways. Thinking slightly out the box, thinking about your product and the type of activities that people do with your product or the kind of things that they enjoy based on the demographic that you know, it would be really great to be able to get some kind of Facebook Live system going. Now, you would need to maybe set up an application to do this. You could use something like Typeform. People can apply. You can essentially vet that person and then get them to produce a video for you using Loom. You can then put it on Facebook Live, and again, you're generating content, you're generating information and entertainment for those customers, which again can be really beneficial for you at this time, particularly if you don't want to keep giving the same information out about the current state of coronavirus and the impact on your business. The final one here is, again, a pretty simple one, quizzes. We've seen a lot of emoji-based quizzes. We have seen a lot of image-based quizzes. And what you can do to kind of keep this fresh is to make sure that you have maybe a different question each hour over the course of a day, or maybe do a Facebook Live with a quiz. Again, it's giving that level of entertainment that still is keeping your brand up, obviously, in the face of the particular customer that you are trying to ultimately sell to. Okay. Now, the last one here that I want to look at is the lower value purchases. Now, obviously, at the moment, although we are seeing a lot of lower value purchases, what I would say here is that the average order value for many of our own clients has actually remained about the same or actually higher. But what we are seeing is that people are actually purchasing more product, but actually not purchasing the higher value items on a store. Now, one of the things that you can really do for that is to make sure that your collections and your navigations are ready for that. Now, what it might be is that if you, on your navigation at the moment, you have a particular collection that maybe was your best seller, maybe the sales have dipped because maybe they're the higher priced products, just move that around. Bring to the forefront those lower value products that are there. Change that in navigation, maybe change that in collections, or even actually change it on the homepage in terms of which collections your particular customers are going to navigate to. Just make it easier for that customer who is going to be thinking a little bit more about how they spend their cash at the moment, to make it easier to buy those more lower value products. In the same vein here, upsells and cross-sells are also a must at the moment. If you have a product that, for example, like t-shirts, you also sell caps or you sell socks or whatever it might be, make sure you have upsells and cross-sells on your Shopify store. Again, what this means is that obviously, yes, okay, people aren't buying those high value items, but they will make more lower value purchases to make their overall average order value of that cart go up. So think about that as an option. And there are plenty of great upsell and cross-sell apps out there. Equally as well, if you have some built custom, like many of our clients do at Blend, please make sure that those are up to date, and please make sure that the upsells and cross-sells are being used for products that you have in stock as well. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier on about subscription and add-ons. Now, subscription at the moment, we would say we have seen, again, an upsurge in subscriptions. And equally as well, if you're using something like Recharge, what you will be able to do is to add on ad hoc products to your subscriptions you're sending out. So if you want to actually, at this moment in time, maybe either give your subscription members a particular offer on a lower price product, great, another great way of increasing average order value. And the final one here is gift cards. Now, We know recently that obviously Shopify has said that gift cards are now for free on all Shopify plans, which is great. And what I would say here is that just be careful on the marketing of gift cards, because obviously people are still willing to buy physical product, but it is also worth having the gift cards, I would say, as the kind of the last option. So if you think about your exit intent option, exit intent pop-ups, if you're using one on, say, your product page, maybe include the gift card as a link in that particular exit intent pop-up, because then it might mean that obviously if consumers aren't willing or thinking, well, actually, maybe I don't want to buy physical products at the moment, they can buy a gift card, and again, you're bringing revenue into the business. So just a few ideas really there, and I'm just going to really recap on the information I shared right at the start. So I think at the moment, try and think about each of these 5 different areas. What I would recommend you do is kind of even just kind of take the slide and then brainstorm off the back of each of these. What can you do with your own business at the moment to increase that certainty? How can you interact more? How can you allow your customers to show that they care about one another? How can you entertain? And what can you do on site to be able to encourage those lower value purchases? So if anybody would like any more information or would like to pick my brain on any of the points that I've covered here, do feel free, obviously, to reach out on social. Equally as well, you can get in touch with us via hello@blendcommerce.com, and hope to see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.